Hello and welcome to GearHeads. My name's Jesse and today I'm going to be showing you guys a nice close look at the brand new Maximus 3.0 scanner that Matco's putting out. So I've had this thing for a week now, and I will just say from the get-go, I do not own this tool. I also am not sponsored to do this. Nobody's paying me for this, and you know, I wasn't given this tool or anything like that. So this is just my honest opinion of it after using it for the last week, and there's a lot of things I really like about it, and there's some things that, not that I don't like about it, but you know, we'll get to those further on in the review. But yeah, it's been a long week, and it's finally Friday, and I'm tired. It's been so hot, so bear with me. Hopefully we can get through this without me getting tired and losing my mind, but I wanted to share this with you guys and show it to you before the Matco rep comes back on Monday and picks it up and takes it back. So the story is, I got this on a demo, and I picked it up from them for the demo about 3 or 4 weeks ago actually, and I was planning on having it for a week, doing the video on Friday before I have to give it back on the next Monday, and it ended up that another shop's scanner went down and they took the demo back, let them use it until they got something else figured out, and then finally I got it back again this week. So anyway, let's get on to the review. So first things first, when you're looking to buy something like this, you know, you want to see a box that it comes in maybe, I don't know, but let me show you down here on the floor. It comes with this nice carrying box, and I'll open it up for you, just give you a little look at it. It's nothing too special, but it is a nice box. It says Matco tools on it. You open it up, it's got a load of those little foam separators in the middle. The scanner lays here on the bottom, and then the, which obviously is not in here now. It's pretty empty actually, because I've got everything out, and I'll show all of it to you. Other than the stylus, because let's be honest, unless you're using one of those really old snap-on scanners that had the classic touch screens that suck with your fingers, you don't need a stylus. These things work just as good as your cell phone does, or you know, any iPhone or Android phone nowadays. You just use your thumb or your fingers and it works great. So it has the slots in it. This is an extender cable. I'll show that to you in a minute. You can kind of see it right here right now actually. Up here is where they put the charger. Right here is where they put the dongle, and I don't remember. Maybe that's where the charger is and that's where the cable for the charger goes. But anyways, it is a nice traveling carrying case that comes with it. So figured I would at least show that to you guys. And then it also comes with the dock that you see it sitting on. So this is something I want to say, and I will be doing a few comparisons in this video comparing to my scanner, because I currently actually do own the Maximus 2.0. And there's a lot of similarities between these. They're both based on a launch, you know, software, and they're based on Android tablets, so they have a lot of similarities. But they did make a couple improvements with this dock. When you put the scanner in it at the bottom, you've got 5 pins here on this one, and they're nice, big, thick, strong, sturdy ones. They're not. You don't have to be super careful and accurate. When you go to put this thing down, you can pretty much just, like that, no big deal, just set it in there. Don't be an idiot and throw it in or jam it in too hard, but sets in nice and easy. I will say, versus the Maximus 2.0 that I have, it has more pins because that dock has more features. The problem is they're not really features anybody uses as far as I know. I think there's like an HDMI port on the back, and there's some other stuff so you could hook it up to a computer monitor and speakers maybe. Like it has the outputs so you could use them, but I don't even know of any mechanic that would end up using it for that. So they actually took those features away, and that's probably why. But the problem with the dock was it had more pins, and they were like smaller pins, and I broke the first one, I think. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe somebody borrowing my scanner set it in there, but I can tell you that one, you have to be real careful. You got to get it in there, line it up real straight and nice, set it into place, and just to make sure you didn't bend the pins, because it happened once and I had to get my original dock warrantied out. So that's a cool update and upgrade with this one that I actually did want to mention because I thought it was really nice. So next thing about it that's not the scanner itself that it comes with, obviously you got to have a dongle to talk to your car. Another nice thing about these newer scanners that are wireless, you don't have to be physically hooked up to the vehicle with a cable, and you can plug into it and you can either walk away to your toolbox to read data and scan things, or you know, if you're underneath the vehicle doing a training service and you got to watch the temperature, or you're testing the evap system and you're down there, you know, commanding the solenoids and you got to go and check things, it's really convenient to have a wireless scanner. So the new dongle is actually a lot bigger. I don't want to make any claims that I'm not, you know, can't prove or I'm not sure of, but I do think they went bigger for a reason, and I have a feeling they made some adjustments and some upgrades and improvements in this thing to make it operate faster. Because I have noticed with this scanner versus mine, the Maximus 2.0, that the engine data actually does come through cleaner and faster. So, you know, something worth noting. And this has been once or twice. You can see you've got the Obd plug on it, and it actually kind of sticks out quite a bit from the sides. I have had a couple cars, I can't just plug this straight in. Not a problem though, because that's where this comes in. It also comes with this extended cable here, and my scanner also came with one of these as well. So either way, thought it was worth sharing and worth letting you know. And I've been using this actually because the car that I think I'll give you guys a demo on this video, just showing you plugging into a car and, you know, showing how it works and the engine data and whatever. But that car, I went to plug it in with this and I couldn't plug it in. I had to go grab this, and ever since then, I've kind of just left the dongle on it like this. So I just leave it on there, and then when I come back and I put it on the charger here, or put the scanner on the charger, I just plug the dongle in, I kind of fold it over and just set it on the back, and it just kind of sits here like this with the cable out, which to me is not a problem at all. It's fine. And then you know, the cable's not necessary on some cars, but it's kind of a handy tool. A lot of people, I think, use them with these all the time, because the truth is those dongles are small. Sometimes they fit in a spot underneath the dash that you can't see, and you don't want to walk away from the car, take your scanner with you, say, okay customer, your car is done, and oh wait a minute, they left, and they just left with your dongle that's now going to cost you $200 or $300 to replace. At least that's what it cost on mine. I didn't forget mine, or actually did forget it once, but I got it back. But I never had to replace mine on my Maximus 2.0. But that's what they said it was for that one. That was $200 or $300 to replace it. This one might be more expensive. I don't really know. But in any case, I hope that gives you an idea of the stuff it comes with and a few of the improvements I think that they've made. So let's move on to the actual software, and I'll adjust the view now and I'll get you nice in close to the screen and show you around it a little bit. So here we are. We got a close look of the scanner on the screen. So I'll just try and give you a quick little look around of the scanner itself and how it works before we plug it into a car, and give you an example of what you can do with it and what you can expect there. So when you first boot the thing up, this is the screen you're going to see. It gives you the Matco Diagnostics screen. It's got a little advertisement here for their Fix app that they have now, Max Fix, which I believe is through the Motor Company. So I will give you a look at that and show that to you in a minute as well. But this is, like I said, the first thing you see. You got Run Diagnostics, Matco Catalog. I don't even know if I've looked at the Matco Catalog yet. And Manage Subscriptions. So that's your software subscriptions. Matco Catalog. Let's just see. What is that? Oh, I don't even know. And I'm not signed in because it's not my tablet. So, oh hey look, perfect opportunity. I just backed up. You can see this is basically a standard Android tablet. You can pretty much put whatever apps you want on here. You can do email, you can watch YouTube videos if you really wanted to, and even video and post them because it's got cameras on it. And yeah, but you know, if you've ever used an Android phone, you kind of get the point. This is Android. So let me just hit the Max app and come back up to here. So what you're really going to be doing most of the time is hitting Run Diagnostics. So here it goes. It loads up the Maximus 3.0 app, and this is the screen you see. Now this is a screen that I actually really like, and it's a big difference from the screen I'm used to seeing. When I load my scanner up, it's basically like this, which is fine, but it starts with demo, and then it starts with EOBD, and this is a very useful tool to have still, because if you want to check for monitors real fast, you can just plug in, hit that, load those up if you want to get generic codes. And here's the thing, the scanners that we use like this don't always talk to the same part of the computer and say the same things as the generic side of the computer sees or says. And sometimes you might scan the vehicle, you might, let's just say you're working on a BMW. You might scan a BMW, do a health report and scan for codes, and you might come up with certain codes or might come up with none at all that still might be there on the EOBD on the generic side. So keep that in mind. It's actually a very useful thing to have. But anyway, this is, like I said, kind of like my scanner is. This is, if you want to pull up a vehicle and you're doing it manually, this is the way you do that. If you're looking at anything basically newer than early 2000s, it usually will find it on its own if you just do this max VIN here. Here's another cool thing though, you don't even have to hit this if you already are plugged. If you plug the dongle into the car first and you turn the key on, it seems to detect, if you already have the screen loaded up, it seems to detect that and it starts loading the vehicle automatically for you. Another thing, by the way, I guess I mentioned the EOBD for IM readiness because that's what I use on my scanner, but duh, I forgot. That's another cool feature they added. Big, huge button right here for IM readiness. And then also there's one over here for vehicle voltage. That's kind of cool, just as a quick and dirty way. If you're already plugged in, you can just kind of hit that, open it up, it shows you what the vehicle voltage is, and then you can watch it while you're cranking or other things are going on. And if you're suspecting a starter issue or perhaps your battery's going bad, you can watch the vehicle voltage there and see how significantly it drops. But anyway, so that's this part of the scanner, at least. So how you're going to pull your vehicle up. Now let's just say you pulled a car in and you just did an oil change, or you did some other service and you want to reset it. There's a button right up here, maintenance reset. So you got brake, oil, steering angle sensor, battery reset for those German cars. I think there's a few American cars and Japanese cars that do it now too, but most commonly with German cars. ABS bleeding, electronic throttle relearns, definitely use those on Chevys a lot. TPMS reset, DPF regeneration, and immobilizer functions. So, and it has the option here for heavy duty use, and that's pretty cool. This one actually gives you a little list. So in case you're curious, if you work on heavy duty stuff, take a look at the list here. I'll try and go slow so you can see it. I don't have time to list all these out, but you should be able to pause and take a look if you want to. Anyway, that's the stuff that's available for heavy duty. And then previous sessions, this is like your history. So if you want to go back and see the last things you've scanned, you can do that. It organizes it by month here. So 11/2018, that must have been the first time the scan tool was turned on, because the next time it got turned on and scanned in the memory here is 05/2019. And there's scans in here for that. And obviously now we are in month 6 of 2019. So anyway, that's a really actually very nice thing to have. Sometimes you want to be able to just, a car left and you had a question, or maybe they call you and said, hey, my car's having a problem again. You can pull this up, find when you scanned it, and yeah, find when you scanned it and get the info and see what the scanner saw at that time. So anyway, a couple other things that are on here while we're here. So Maximus Fix, I will show you more of that. It's built into the scan tool. That's their new like shop data thing they got going on, and it's nice, honestly, that it's built into the scanner. You can get repair info, wiring diagrams, and stuff like that. Tech to Tech, that's their version kind of Identifix or IATN, where you can share things with other technicians and whatnot. I still haven't used it. I probably should try it out at some point. Saved report. So if you do a vehicle report, you scan a vehicle, you can do this thing where you save the report. You can save it as a PDF, or you can email it or save it to your Google Drive, or you can keep it on the scanner to print later with an actual printer. Feedback, that's for if you have an issue or anything with the scanner, you can give feedback about it back to the people that, you know, run and optimize the software. Update, so you want to update different things for different vehicles. So right now everything's updated, but you can see right here you got a little list. And the difference between these and the Snap-on scanners is the Snap-on scanners usually do updates twice a year, and that updates for everything that they've done so far in the amount of time since you were last updated, versus these, if your subscription is current, it updates as the updates come along for every different vehicle. So, you know, you got GM, Honda, Hyundai, Ferrari, Daewoo, Citroen. So anyway, that's where you go to update. Applications, this is for if you have add-ons for the scanner, you go here. So video scope, that would be like a boroscope, and I do have that tool. It's very handy and useful to use. Battery tester, ignition scope, multimeter, oscilloscope, and sensor simulator. Those are all add-ons that you can buy for this scanner. I could talk a little more about those later if you want. I don't have experience with all of them other than the video scope. I did try the sensor simulator. It's a really cool tool and cool idea. I just didn't find it that useful in my day-to-day, so I demoed it and gave it back on with my scanner. The oscilloscope, you know what, it works, but the software is garbage. If they update the software eventually and make it good, then potentially it could be a really cool thing to have. But so far, they haven't updated it, sadly. If they do, maybe I'll leave a comment down here since it's maybe a little disparaging to them. Otherwise, settings. So you can go in here, you got different settings. Oh look, you got color themes. So we're on blue right now, but you can change it. Oh, you have to reboot? Nah. But there's different settings in here. You can also change your, you can set up the info that you want for your health report. So let's just say you scan a vehicle and you want to print up a PDF report of it. You can have the shop name on there, the technician name, you can have your address and phone number, stuff like that. So that kind of thing is actually pretty cool if you want to be able to print that out, give it to a customer, and then they have a little report of what you got on their vehicle and they know who to call. And the about section, I don't know, I guess more info about the scanner. Look, there's a tutorial, whatever. I'm giving you a tutorial. Nope, I don't want to exit. So this is a weird thing though. If I go to Maximus Fix, I think it goes to the website. Yeah, it does. So whatever, we'll get to that later. Oh, come on. Kill the tab. Oh. And back here again. Oh, alright, darn it. See, okay, that's annoying. So if I go up with this, if you go to that, let's kill Chrome. If you go to this Matco or Maximus 3.01 and you see the diagnostics thing, it pulls up that original menu. It doesn't pull the actual app up. So I'm stuck in this menu now. How you get out of it, you can hit the toolbox again and it'll go back, or you can swipe from the side here and it will go between those two, which actually is kind of useful if you're using one of the applications and you have that loaded up, then you can skip back over to this. So I think that's a quick little look around. Hopefully that gives you an idea of you know, a little bit of a way around the app itself. Now let's go ahead and hook this thing into a vehicle and show you how it works there. Okay, so I feel like it might be a crime if I didn't at least show you under the hood of this pretty cool car that we're going to be doing the using the scanner on. As an example, it's a pretty modified CTSV, makes around 700 horsepower. We've done a lot of different work to this thing, and there's a lot of other shops, or not a lot, there's a couple other shops that have done some work to it also, and this thing rips. It's a really cool car, and I know the owner enjoys it. He's hoping to finally get it back and start driving it again, because it's been one little thing after another. You know how it is when you modify a car. It never seems to be a finished project. But at any point, maybe if you're lucky when we're done, I'll give you a little exhaust note from it. Sounds pretty good when you rev it. All right, let's move back on to the scanner review. All right, so you can see I have the dongle plugged in here, and it's just kind of hanging on the floor. Like I mentioned before, it is kind of nice actually to help keep you from forgetting it, because this thing gets in the way of your feet. It makes it pretty hard to forget. And all right, I got the scanner in my hand. Key is on. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and put this down on top of my tool cart that I have, my diag cart, and give you a nice shot of the screen, and we can talk to this, scan it, and show you guys what to expect. Another nice thing with this scan tool I didn't mention before, it actually comes with a prop now, so you can kind of just set it at the level or height you want, and that's actually really convenient if you want to prop it up and set it somewhere. Okay, so I shut the automatic lights off and the fan so we don't kill the battery in this thing, but here we go. Let's go ahead and start. So I'll hit the max VIN option. It should automatically scan it for us now. And you'll get an idea of how long it takes and how fast it scans things. Every vehicle is a little bit different. Some vehicles do take longer. For example, Nissan and Infiniti products take forever for some reason. And this is actually a really cool feature they added with this scanner, the scan history. So after you've scanned the car, you can go to diagnostic and start scanning it to look for more things. There also is the option available right here for scan history, so you can look at any other times you scan the vehicle with this scanner. Here they are right here. I'll give you a quick look at this. Is give you an idea at least of what the reports are if you were to file and fill out a report for printing or saving on your Google Drive. And here you go, inspection result, ignition coil 8 control circuit. It has the vehicle info up here, 2013 GM engine model LSA. Down here, professional report, ECM engine control module 1 abnormal. And then it gives you a little bit more info about the DTC down there. So, and anyway, so let's go back. Let's go to actually diag this thing, and I'll give you just an example. Do the whole health report. It'll scan every module in the vehicle. Once we get to it, reading for data. All right, here we go, health report. Let's just scan it and see how long it takes. Oh, okay, and Chevys do this. A lot of times they'll ask about different options on the vehicle, especially with the trucks. It'll want to know if it's over a certain gross vehicle weight rating, if it has a certain traction control and towing system, etc., and you got to answer those. And this is sadly an automatic. All right, we'll see how long it takes. Not too bad. It's moving through them. So we've already got the ECM, TCM, fuel pump control module. We've got codes. We got 3 in the body control module. Body control module auxiliary. I'm not sure exactly what's in that one. But driver door switch, there's 3 codes in there. Headlamp control, HVAC, instrument panel, left side object detection module. So that is really cool, you know, with these scanners now. A lot of these new cars, they detect things close to the bumpers, you know, front and back, and you can scan and reprogram, or maybe not reprogram with this scanner, depends on the vehicle honestly, but you can scan, you can reset things, recalibrate things, stuff like that. Some vehicles you can reprogram the modules with this, it just depends on what vehicle it is. So there we go, the report finished, and it's giving me up at the very top the modules that did actually have codes in them, and down here it'll all be green. So like ECM, right now there's no codes for the ECM. The rest of these are good. Electronic brake control module, communication and voltage codes. I think that's because the battery did get low at some point. Yeah, power circuit low. Anyways, more body and other codes. I think as far as I know, everything in the car works right now, so at least he hasn't had any complaints about it. We're not too concerned about that. Initially it was here for the engine concerns and getting a little bit of service work. So let's go ahead and look into the engine control module, because that is what most people, I think, can you click it here? Maybe you have to hit enter over here. Okay, I guess you do. So, you know, this is what most people are going to be using it for. If you have a code, hit read fault code, it will bring them up. You can clear fault codes. Depending on the manufacturer, once you hit this is going to be the same for pretty much all of them. But once you hit read fault code, it is going to be different depending on what manufacturer you got. Sometimes they'll have freeze data in here, sometimes they won't, and it'll be somewhere else. There might be other options like history codes, like, you know, additional DTC information, DTC display, my bad. No trouble code, system normal. Cool. So read data stream. So let's show you that. There's a couple more changes they made. So if you want to, you know, see what I'm talking about when I say the changes they made, I did do a video on my old scanner, and you can go back there to compare. What you might want to do, because those old scanners are still available, they're going to be available for a long time, and they still work well, and they actually do just about everything this one does. They just don't do it in the exact same way, and maybe not quite as clean and crisp and snappy as this one does, but it is a lot cheaper. So it's got all these different options for data. Let's just go ahead and look at misfire data, because we, you know, that's what I was doing before with it. It has misfire history. The codes have been cleared since then, so they shouldn't be there. Spark, throttle position angle, vehicle speed sensor, misfire, MAF sensor, MAP sensor, injector disabled due to misfire. There's different info in here like that, so that's pretty cool. ECT sensor. Let's go ahead and fire it up. I'll let it warm up, and you can kind of take a look at some of the engine data. Airflow calculated. That should be enough. I got 7 things up there, so real fast before I start the car, I will show you. On the old scanner, they used to have it set up where if you're looking at it on just a list mode, it would only list like 5 or 6 items, and then you'd have to scroll to another page, and it would have to pause and reload on the next page. So if you're really trying to go back and forth and look at the engine data, that was really slow. They have improved it somewhat on this one where it does scroll up and down and keep it on the same screen, but if you've got like 20 different things pulled up, don't expect the data flow to be really fast, and it still does page refresh going up and down if you have too many. So that's a little annoying. It is kind of nice with the snap-on scanners that you don't have to worry about that. But personally, I've gotten used to it. It was something I had to get used to using the launch software, but I pick exactly what data PIDs I want to see, and then I just graph them. It seems to be easier that way. So right now, ECT, 102 degrees. Let's go ahead and start this thing up and let it warm up for a minute. So in case you couldn't tell, it's got a Lopey cam in it. But that's what the engine data looks like. Let me move this a little bit, give you a better view. Looks like I'm getting a bit of glare. So I promise you in person, it's very easy to see and looks better, but I can't see on the camera. It does look like it's a little harder to see these. It looks like there's a glare, I don't know why. There's no light behind me. Spark is jumping all over. Warming up, and it's got that really aggressive cam, so the idle is pretty rough in this thing. You might also notice, looking at the map sensor with the engine data, the vacuum is also really low with that cam in it. When you're idling around the parking lot, you actually don't have a lot of brake assist. The brake booster doesn't get enough vacuum. The map sensor is also a lot higher than you'd normally expect to see on most Chevys with engines this size. Once it's warmed up, and this one obviously isn't fully warmed up yet, most of the time once they're warmed up, you'll see the map sensor get somewhere around 6 to 8 grams a second, somewhere in that range. But this thing's, you know, it's got a supercharger on it, it's got a big cam, it's tuned. Not exactly the standard data you'd expect to see. So it's warming up right now, but hopefully that gives you an idea of what the data output looks like. Let's go ahead and go back. I'm going to shut the car up because it's so stinking loud. I don't think you can hear me. So that gives you an idea of what the data looks like when you pull it up. Let's go back now. So special functions, it's got all kinds of different things between this and the actuation tests. Idle learn reset, so you want to do that if you were to change out the throttle body. Oil life resets there. Crankshaft position variation learn. HO2 heater. Actuation tests. So there's a whole bunch of these ones, engine speed and throttle. So if I started the car, I could come in here and I could adjust the throttle position and engine speed with the scanner to test it. Like let's say, you know, there could be situations where you might find that helpful for diagnosing. Fuel pump, if I want to come down here, I can manually switch it right here and turn the fuel pump on. So right here, commanded state none. I can go down here at off or on. Let's see if I can hear it. Yep, it's a pretty loud fuel pump. Off. So it just primed it, is what it did just now. And oh, by the way, that's a useful other thing here. So add data stream. You can add data streams to these things. So let's see, it'll be maybe under fuel trim data. I don't know if this engine has a fuel rail pressure sensor. That should tell us. So let's just see. What's the fuel rail pressure sensor right now? Okay, so right now it's at 65 psi. It's holding pressure. Let's see if it increases a little when I switch it on. There you go, a little bit. Went up to 75. And then back off again when the pump shut off. So that's a cool thing. If you're trying to do actuation tests or certain functions, you a lot of times can add on a data stream and watch for engine data. So there's many ways you can apply this. that's just one small simple example of it. So, oh, by the way, there was one thing actually that I did not show you yet, and that's the Max Fix, and that's something that they're actually going like to great lengths to advertise with this scanner and talk about, because you know, it is pretty cool. It's a big deal for them, and I get it. I am personally, we'll just say now, I'm not super impressed with Motors software. It's, you know, as far as shop data goes, it's not bad, honestly. It works fine, but at this point, ALLDATA, ProtoMan, and Identifix are all better and easier to use if you have a computer in the shop. Honestly, I think that's the way to go. If you don't have a computer in the shop, or you're on the go or something, then this still is a good option. And it is also still really nice to have it built into the scan tool so that you can pull it up real quick. If you don't want to get out of the car and go look on the computer at something, you can pull it up there real fast. And which, by the way, it's an Android tablet. It has a browser. You still can load up ALLDATA or ProtoMan or whatever in a browser if you would like to do that. But let me go just real fast. I'm going to unplug something under the hood, and we'll scan it, and it'll give you a code, and I'll show you, show you how that works. This will definitely trip a code immediately. All right, just a few seconds was all that was necessary. So let's go to read fault code here. Dtc Display. There you go. Throttle position sensor, circuit low, circuit high. I just went and unplugged it. Anyway, so here's what happens. Down here, it looks a little washed out, but it actually has two or three different options here. You've got report on the very end, and that will give you an option to add this to a vehicle report that you can print up or send out like we talked about before. It has the Google search option, which is actually pretty cool, because what it'll do is if you tap the one that you want to search for, you tap that, you hit Google search, and it will search the vehicle that is scanned and the code. So if you can't find any other data on it and you don't want to spend the time to type it in, let's be honest, as technicians, none of us knows everything. Sometimes it's not easy to find something in shop data, and sometimes it's not even there. So we all use Google once in a while. Happens. So that's what that does. We'll take you to a Google search. And this is the new feature that they added, Maximus Fix. So you hit this, takes you back, opens up a browser, and it takes you to Max Fix. And like I said, it's powered by Motor. And there you go, 2013 Cadillac CTS, select, oh, engine, select. And this is where, oh, that's strange. CTI, I got to select CTSV. Okay, there we go. Now it pulled it up. So the vehicle, or the code that I had selected and went to search for, it has it listed right here, diagnostic trouble codes. By the way, there is other information over here. So it's got, you know, airbags, air conditioning and heater, battery replacement, blah, blah, blah. You can also use the search function. And I don't want to dog on or talk trash about it, because it actually does work pretty well. You can search and find things decently. I just, you know, I have a lot more experience using things like ProtoMan, ALLDATA, and Identifix, and for me it's a lot faster and easier just to use that. But if I'm sitting in the car, I have used this a few times and it's been pretty cool. So here we go. It's loading up the page. There we go. So throttle position sensor 1, circuit low voltage. So it gives you the descriptions. It's going to give you the information for what causes and can possibly set the code, and it gives you also other information as far as diagnosing it is concerned. You know, I don't have time to read through the whole list here, but this is 5 pages long of info just on this specific code, and, you know, ways to help you out to diagnose the issue. Very cool and very helpful thing. This is included, the service is included with the scanner for 1 year for free. And after that, I think it's around it's around $1,200 a year, I think. Somewhere around there. What I know is it's over $100 a month, basically, when you add it up that way. And after the first year, if you want to keep it, it's going to be about $100 a month, which then once again gets you into, are you paying the same amount for this versus another shop service that's out there that may or may not be more useful? So anyways, let me go plug that part back in, park the car, and then we'll talk about a couple other things before we wrap this video up. And I do have to park the cars in the garage tonight, so I guess I may as well at least let you hear the pretty exhaust noises while I pull the El Camino a little bit forward and pull this forward. That's all you get. All right, back to the scanners again. So, I think that pretty well covers, at least in general, what this thing does, how it works, what it looks like, and how it feels. Things I really like about it versus mine. It's got a newer version of Android on it. It's built on a newer tablet. It's got more processing power, and honestly, all of the functions just everywhere you go are just that much little bit smoother, cleaner, and crisp, and everything feels nice. And if you go outside of the app back into stock Android, these apps do seem to operate and feel a little bit cleaner and faster, and things load better as well. What else? I do like also the new design on it. It's got these big bumpers on the corner. You still got plugs on the top. I don't think I showed you that yet, but it's got a plug up here so you can plug a USB into it for some of the add-ons. Of course, my nail doesn't want to do it. Okay. So it's got this plug in the top here for USB-C. You can charge it through this with USB-C if you need to. And it's got the USB input also, so you can put your video scope or your oscilloscope or whatever else in there. It's got an option here for additional storage if you want to put a micro SD card in there. These are just volume buttons, so you can raise and lower the volume. This is just the power button. Hit it off, on. That's another thing I actually do kind of like about this versus when I borrow my coworker's scanner. With the snap-on ones, it seems like it's on or off, and if it's on, you're just sitting there with a screen on and it's killing the battery. This thing, just like your phone, you have an app pulled up, you want to put it away, put it down for a minute, and you got to go do something else, or you want to come look at the computer. To save your battery, you just hit that and it shuts the screen off, goes to sleep, and you turn it back on and it will come back right where you left it, not skipping a beat. Now I know obviously people are going to compare these with the snap-on scanners, and I know, to be honest, I do too. They're not exactly the same thing. They do the same job. They're both scan tools, but you know, obviously we're going to compare them, because when you're going to buy something like this and you're spending this much money, which is, we're going to talk about it again in a minute, you're going to want to compare, look around, see what else is out there, see what the options are. Now this comes into where I'm thinking about it. I really, really like this thing. Like I said, I've been using it for this week and it's been awesome. But it doesn't really do anything more than my Maximus 2.0 does. And that's the thing that I'm having trouble with. It's a little bit faster, a little bit cleaner. I really like some of the design changes that they've made and some of the layout, but all of the same options and functions and abilities are still there, and it's not really any different in this one than mine. Yes, this has the Maximus Fix built into it, but I have mine set up where I have the browser set up with pages always set to open on Identifix and ProDemand. So if I'm working on something, yeah, it takes a couple extra seconds for me to switch over to that app and then, you know, to the Chrome app, and then the few extra seconds is in the fact that I have to punch in the vehicle data and search for whatever it is I'm searching for, versus this one doing it automatically. Is saving that 15, 20, maybe 30 seconds really worth an extra few $1,000s? I'm not sure, because I don't know what the Maximus 2.0 is going for exactly now if you were to buy one on the truck. When I bought mine, it was a bit over a year ago, and it was about it was around $3,000 to $3,500. It was somewhere in that range. This one is now selling for $5,500. That puts it up there a lot closer to some of the snap-on ones that are out there. Now, the difference is, to me at least, the launch that this is built on, so that, you know, I'll say the launch and the Autel scanners like this, they do have some functions and can do some things that the snap-on scanners cannot do. They can see and talk to some modules that the snap-on scanners just don't see or can't find. And so there's a bit of added functionality there, which is really nice, and that is one of the decisions that led to me picking mine, and I've been really happy with mine. So similar story with this. But, you know, when you start getting closer to like $5,500, you could probably find a used, you know, on the truck, or, you know, or let's just say step it up to another grand or two. When you're talking about this much money, how much is it really to spend another grand or two? You could get a good snap-on scanner that has a scope built into it. This does not have a scope built into it, and it does not come with one, and you can buy one to add on to it, but in my experience so far, it was really not that good. I don't know about the hardware itself. That seems to be okay, but the software, no bueno. It's really clunky and not easy to use. So that's where I find myself questioning and thinking about all this, because I really like the scanner. If somebody's interested in it and they want to make the investment and they would like it, I freaking go for it because it's really nice. And I personally still am thinking about getting it, thinking about upgrading to it and trading mine in for it. But that's really going to depend on how much they give me on a trade-in, and I have no idea what that number is yet. And at the end of the day, even if I was to do that, it doesn't have any newer functions, but it does all of the things mine does. It just does it a little bit nicer. So that's really cool. What else? You know what? I don't know, but I'm sure some of you guys will have questions and you're going to complain about things I missed or didn't show. I'm sorry, this video is already probably over 30 minutes as it is, so you can only fit so much in a reasonable amount of time, and I hope that this satisfies you and answers any questions you may or may not have about it, and I hope you enjoyed the video and found it interesting and fun, and it was kind of cool. At least I got to show and exemplify it on a nice, fun car. So in any case, like I said before, if you have any questions, feel free to drop a question down in the comments, and I always do my best to get back to you guys if I can. And if you like the video, hit that thumbs up button, and as always, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this. So you stuck around this long, I'm figuring you probably did by now. So anyway, hope you guys had a good evening. As always, keep wrenching.